impact do you think the Tea Party is going to have in the November election?
Probably a bigger impact on the Republicans than the Democrats. The vitriol that comes from some of them is disappointing, and I don't think it's really helpful. And I really try to look at what's underlying the unrest and the discontent, because it's something that whoever is holding office, you don't just represent your party, you're there for everyone, that you need to try to understand. And some of it I think is resistance to change, but I think in some of the reading and some of what I'm hearing, I sense there's also, there may be some racial overtones to it too. Racial and class.
Are you surprised by the tone that your campaign's taken? I mean, there between you and your opponent.
Most people who are reporters, they're looking for a lot more blood and guts. They think it's kind of tame.
You think it's tame?
Um,
You said you were disappointed.
I'm disappointed because what people like you see on the surface is not what happens underneath in the party politics, and the whispering campaigns and the rumors that are sent out and the things that are done that are not edifying or fruitful to a party, those are what are disappointing. I've worked really hard in this primary to not pressure people, to encourage forward and positive thinking so that as a party it's not a bloodbath, that we can let the chips fall where they may. And it's been twisted, or when one would go to defend themselves, it's been taken as something that I've done on the offensive. But be that as it may, I can't control what people think.
Is this just how campaigns work? Do you think there's been some damage done within your party?
That time will tell. Time will tell.
This is filing day for campaign finance stuff, right?
It is.
And as I understand it, you did better this quarter than last quarter, but not as well as your opponent.
That's correct.
And do you still, is that because of, what you've said, and what I've read, at least you saying about him kind of stopping donors?
We made the decision after the third quarter of last year to move toward a grassroots campaign, and that we would focus on raising our money in smaller contributions from a larger number of people. And the kind of big money that people like Rob Portman have raised, that Lee Fisher tried to raise but failed this quarter, is done in a different way. I suppose if you get far enough along the continuum of building a grassroots campaign like we saw that Barack Obama did, you can raise the big dollars because you've sort of built the foundation, garnered the troops, and put them in place. We're doing better with that type of fundraising than we ever have, and we look for it to continue. But that is something that's time intensive on the part of the staff as well as the candidate. So getting in a call room and asking rich people for money just isn't the way we're doing it.
If you win a primary, do you have to change that tactic? When you're going against the big money that Portman seems to be raising?
We'll enhance it. What I'm saying is we'll enhance what we're doing now. But I like to call this the new old-fashioned campaign. And we're in a time where it's, in terms of the voting, the voters' environment, it seems rather volatile. And I think the best way to let voters know who you are and what you stand for during a time like this is to reach out to them directly. And so we'll continue to do that, and we'll find ways to raise more money to reach more people. But this method, I think we're going to find, will prove to be the most effective in a primary like this, because it's a limited universe of voters, and we actually can reach them this way. If I had a flower pot here, if I had 2 flower pots, I could get more water to a flower pot if I used the watering can than if I stood back 10 feet and used the sprayer. And so when you try to use general election methods in a primary, primary is not really conducive to that.
You read some crazy stuff on the internet, and here's the scenario
boy, do you.
that political people are throwing out there right now. You lose the primary, Strickland appoints you probate judge, allowing O'Shaughnessy to come into the Secretary of State's office early. How likely would a scenario like that be?
0%.
0%?
Mm-hmm.
You have any intention of leaving office early as Secretary of State?
None whatsoever. I have a job to finish.
What do we have, 2 weeks left then? About a week and a half left before the primary?
19 days.
19 days.
Now, it's because I'm Secretary of State. I have to keep track of this.
What are you doing in the next 19 days?
Making sure that our election process will be smooth, and traveling the state, seeing more voters, gathering more votes, and winning the primary.
Okay.